you anything else. Just put that all away and pretend for me. 'Cause when I put that mask on, I'm not human anymore. 'Cause when I put that mask on, I'm not human anymore.
I'ma kiss it till you die, die, die. I'ma kiss it till you die, die, die. I'ma kiss it till you die, die, die. I'ma kiss it till you die, die, die.
I'm frustrated, over-medicated. You got me feeling like no one really cares. You need me to hide myself, 'cause I can't show you anything else. Just put that all away and pretend for me. 'Cause when I put that mask on, I'm not human anymore. 'Cause when I put that mask on, I'm not human anymore.
I'ma kiss it till you die, die, die. I'ma kiss it till you die, die, die. I'ma kiss it till you die, die, die. I'ma kiss it till you die, die, die.
All alone, I can't fake it. 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 All alone, I can't fake it.
All right, we are live with the September patron stream. Hello. Hope everybody is doing well on this Tuesday night, September 20th. We're breezing right through September. It'll be October before you know it. So let me do some shout outs here before I bring in the panel. Let's see. Who have I got with me out in the chat tonight? We've got Michael Sullivan. We got JB. We got Dr. CZ Death. What's going on, Chris? Hope you're doing well. Deborah Priestley, Anthony Oliver, Robert Long, RJ Skarinki, Dazzle, Scott B, Rick Hunter, Alexis Ishara, David Vines, Brian Trash, Riz Ami. We've got Sin Jin. Got Dave in the house tonight. Casey McMullen from Utah. Shout out to Thomas, Timothy, and Gabriel. All right, cool. All right, let's get the ball rolling here, shall we? Joining me tonight, making his second appearance on the patron stream, the swaggy one himself. Swaggy G, how's it going, man?
What's up, Piz? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I like that shirt.
Yeah, it's old school right there. So
Dragon Sound. Oh yeah. Can't go wrong with Miami Connection.
yeah, I never heard of that one, and then I ran across someone's review of it online, and it is epic. It is next level.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. And I've not checked out the 4K yet from Vinegar Syndrome, but I'm sure it's. I mean, just imagine that movie in ultra high def. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, how glorious is that? Jeez.
Yeah, it's a good mixture of martial arts, music. You know, the so bad it's good.
And friendship. It's all about friendship. I mean, that's the mess. It's really a positive film. It's all about the power of friendship.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because the father, the son relationship, and how they dressed up the dad to make him look older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they just put baby powder in his hair, but it worked. It worked. You know, that's really how you age. Forget about digitally aging somebody. Just put baby powder in their hair.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, his father was obviously African American, but his mom was Vietnamese or something like that. And
I believe it was they hooked up in Vietnam.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, what a movie though. What a good message too. What a great message. So, but thanks for joining me tonight, man.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Right on. Also joining me tonight, returning after a furlough. I don't know where. I don't know where that word came from. It just popped in my head. The Daily Ghost. How's it going, Ghost?
What's going on, Piz?
Where were you furloughed, by the way?
Well, actually, I got some really good news at my job this past week. So it's kind of the opposite of furlough. So.
Okay, I'm guessing a promotion.
Sort of, yes. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's awesome to be back. Good to see you all.
It's good to see you too, man. Glad to have you back in the fold. We've missed you.
Thank you.
Oh, right on. You doing good?
Yeah, definitely very good. Like everybody else, I'm excited for October to finally hit us.
No.
Yes. I haven't really kind of gotten. I know everybody's kind of like, oh, September 1st is, but for me, it's still October 1st. Start of the season.
Yeah, you know, I think once October hits, once the 1st of October kind of it lands, that's when it's just all out Halloween for the rest of that month.
Exactly. Yeah, I was at the store yesterday, and of course, got all the Halloween candies like the ghost dots and just all that stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah. Luckily, I didn't divulge though. Yeah.
I got my cereals, all except for the Fruit Brute. I couldn't find the Fruit Brute. I found the 3 old school ones, but I couldn't find the Fruit Brute. So,
oh wow.
But yeah, they're still good.
They definitely are.
Yeah.
Did you go with the candy corn?
I'm not a huge candy corn guy.
Yeah.
If it's there, I'll eat a handful of it or two, but I'm not a huge candy corn guy.
Yeah, that's something you don't seek out. If you run across it, I'll take it. But.
Yeah. If you've got it there and like that, grandma, candy dish bowl,
Yeah.
I'll eat a couple of handfuls, but that's about it. Also joining me tonight, all the way from the UK, the real Fifth Beatle, Mike. How's it going, buddy?
Guys, all good in the UK. Little funeral happened in the last couple of days, which you guys may have seen. No big deal.
No idea. Hadn't heard a thing.
Only 5,000 people watched it.
Oh, okay. I figured it was a small event, very intimate event, I'm sure. Yeah. But glad that everything's going good in the UK. I was checking out your stream, and you were doing the 50 best horror movies of the 21st century according to Empire. I got through some of them and I had to bail because I was like, oh my God. The one list I barely made it through.
It's a pretty mainstream version of like what we consider the best films. I mean, there's no House of the Devil straight away. I was like, what?
Yeah. I will. But good to see you, Mike. Always a pleasure. Also joining me tonight, someone named Lon. Maybe Lonnie? Is this Lonnie Lamb from Halloween? Oh no, it's Lorne. You're muted, sir.
Yeah, I'm always muted. If you've been following Twitter, you understand the joke.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How is everyone?
Good. How's things going with you?
Pretty well. I'm alive, unlike the Queen.
Oh, too soon. Too soon.
Too soon? If I live to be as old as her, which I won't, spoilers, it's not going to be too soon for jokes. Sorry.
You know, it really is something to think about, like everything that she lived through and experienced, and everything that went on under her reign as the queen. And like she was in her early 20s when she became queen. I mean, my God, imagine like, and she wasn't supposed to be queen. You know, so she was like
watching the news.
Well, but I mean, it's really interesting to all that she's. It doesn't. She's just been around for so long. It's the fact that she's gone now. It's like, it's odd. I don't know.
It's like Westminster Abbey, where like the funeral took place. Is like, I think they started building it in like 1080. It's like 1,000 years ago. That's the history. The whole everything that took place yesterday. You know, the whole service. Whatever you think about the royal family, you know, the history behind it, the buildings, how old everything is just, it's just mind blowing, you know.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
You know, the Egyptians got the pyramids built in basically a generation. I'm just saying, maybe the English should look at their minimum wage laws. That's a really inappropriate joke. I'm sorry.
Very inappropriate. But I did see some of the funeral.
As people get it.
I did see some of the funeral yesterday, and you know, they were carrying out the casket, and there was like a big crown on the casket, and just, you know, everything's like jewel encrusted, and it's just so opulent. And you know, like I'm just imagining like what they, you know, how many millions of dollars in jewels they like buried with her, you know, because you know she's got to look good, you know, in death, right? So
she's got her bag in the coffin, I would assume, right? Her handbag.
Oh, sure, I would assume, yeah.
Meanwhile, how many people live below the poverty line?
Well, she's royalty. She's royalty. Come on. But also joining me tonight, making his very first appearance on a Patron stream, we've got Jack Hunter. How's it going, Jack?
What's up, man? Chilling.
You doing good?
Oh yeah, you know, I'm not gonna make a dead queen joke. That was pretty badass, Lon. I give you that one. I love your dark sense of humor. Yeah.
But well, good to see you, Jack. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's always good to you know, see some new blood, of course. So, thank you. Well, have you fellas? We may have some other people joining us tonight too. I don't know. We shall see. But have you guys seen anything good lately? Anything bad lately? Anything?
Yes. Actually.
Go for it.
Oh, I saw it's a Tubi original. You know, I was really excited because I love like stuff like Scream, and they have a new Tubi original called Requiem for a Scream.
Mm-hmm.
It you know, when people do things in movies, like it's like the stereotypical, you know, like white group of friends, you know, they got like one black guy and of course he's gay in it, and it's like the writer really didn't try too hard and they followed every trope, you know. There wasn't a great payoff, and they and the mask was cool. I've seen it on Amazon and used in a fan film for Scream, but it was pretty bad. It was our movie night with my friends, you know, on the Saturday night, and even my girlfriend was just like halfway through, we just started making fun of the thing, and the credits were like not even a minute and a half long. It was only like 2 locations and a crew of 30, if that.
Yeah, I would think Tubi. Well, maybe Tubi doesn't have very deep pockets. You know, I mean, I guess
they
those.
pay me well.
Well, I'm sure they picked it up at market. I'm sure they didn't make it. I mean,
that's true.
Whenever you see Shudder originals or a Netflix exclusive, they buy those things after the fact. They don't.
Oh yeah, it's through the distributor. They sell the rights to it, and then hell, I'd love to get it like a Tubi original put on my film like that. All right,
exactly. That way you can sell the same commercial 7 or 8 times during your movie. It'll be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. And you know Tubi's going to push the crap out of it too if it's a Tubi original. Or at least when I'm scrolling through Tubi, those always pop up with the little red thing at the top. So
I love
it's
Tubi.
deceiving.
I do too. I was watching Tubi last night, just scrolling through all the glorious crap on there. Like I for some reason I watched the movie Bleed with Debbie Rochon in it for the first time.
Yes, I have that. I have it.
I know. I mean, I know it's bad. I've seen it. I used to own it on DVD back in the day.
We all owned it back in that because the Blockbuster was selling their copy for $2, right?
It is so severely cropped. Literally, you're only seeing about half the movie. It is so severely cropped. Why it's even on there, I don't know. But it brought back some memories. But yeah, it's not very good.
There's only one scene in that movie that is really worthwhile for a guy watching it, and you know exactly
the pool scene.
Well, the pool scene. Well, the pool scene, and there's a love
there's
scene.
the bedroom scene. Oh,
There's a love scene. Yeah.
You know, for the longest time, Tubi had the Spawn of the Slithus on, but they actually had still the time coding from the distributor on the bottom of the broadcast.
Ooh.
I mean, it's like it's what they got a hold of, I guess.
Have you clicked on somewhere? It's like I forgot what I should know this. It's where it's just the sound effects and the background music, and they forget to put the vocal, the audio on it. They did that for fucking Soul Survivor. I was trying to show my girlfriend, and Alicia Dushku. It's a
Great name.
It's a classic, but it's kind of underrated. It comes across as a Scream type urban legend film, and I wanted to show her like if she would get the ending and stuff because it's very, it leaves you asking yourself what happened. It was just the background effects and the music, and I'm like, I don't remember it being this silent even through the credits.
It was a silent film.
Yeah.
Dushku is a form of poetry that counts syllables, I think.
She listen, but she was poetry in motion back in the day. I wonder what she's doing these days. I've not seen her in a while.
Probably not cardio at this point because the career's gone.
Oh, yeah. She may still be taking care of herself. Ghost, have you seen anything good, bad, or indifferent lately?
Or indifferent. I like that extra one. I saw Pearl this weekend, which I really, really liked a lot. It was it was one of those things where it's kind of hard to tell because the lead performance, from Mia Goth, I know that's kind of all the talk, but it really is so central to the movie that it's almost kind of hard to tell like if the movie would be good if she in particular wasn't in it or just a good performance, but
don't ruin it.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm not gonna.
Okay, because I am really looking forward to seeing that. I love X.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely different, but it's it's obviously tied in, and I thought it was very entertaining, and I like that it added so much to the story. It's just I don't know. There's something about it. I mean, I know that this and X, neither of them are perfect film by any means, but I really just kind of like how. I wrote a little review on my website, and I said, that it had a studio, so they put some kind of money, behind it a little bit, but overall, the whole thing just has a kind of DIY kind of feel to it. Just I guess we're gonna do a sequel, and now, guess we're doing a prequel now, like that whole thing. So I just find it really kind of exciting that something like that is going on because everything else you're seeing in the theater is like. It's all pre-planned Marvel, just, all that kind of stuff. So this just feels very fresh. And
Ghost, can I ask you a question about it without revealing too much about it?
Sure.
Is it when, during it's a prequel, is it a far stretch of like disbelief that this is a prequel to X? Like, do they stretch it or is it original in its own way?
I guess it's original in its own way, but it keeps it very much in that very small world. It's based on that house, that Chainsaw Massacre house. It's all kind of based there. So, and that's probably that's a good point because it's smart. If they tried to, so many sequels kind of try and expand or just, they don't keep it simple. why people are going there, just because they want to see more of the first one, basically, more of the story, more of whatever. So no, this one, it wasn't a stretch.
So they didn't pull a Underworld Rise of the Lycans, where it just kind of throws you off.
No.
Okay, cool.
No, not
Lauren,
Yeah.
I know you saw it, Lauren.
Yeah. So I was really worried for the first act, which I thought was dreadful. And then it turned into a really, really good film at the dinner table scene where there's a big argument. I'm not ruining anything. There's like 3 dinners in the film. But it's definitely, the movie definitely turns, because in the beginning it almost felt like self-parody in a way, because it's so broad. The opening shot, by the way, recreates an actual Technicolor feel, which I thought was brilliant and wonderful, because it really helps set the time period right. There's a lot of cool thematics in it. I like it. Unfortunately, I like X and Pearl a lot. I think Pearl is slightly the better film. That's not going to be a popular opinion. But I will say that I think these are a far cry from the greatest Ty West films. I mean, Innkeepers and House of the Devil are modern masterpieces. Neither X nor Pearl are that. So I do think that if we're judging by his career, yeah, these films have to take a back seat. But if we're judging by generally what Hollywood is, vomiting out at us, hey, I'll take them. And I was not a guy who was excited to see a prequel to X, because I have nitpicks about X. It's not in my top 10 films of the year. It's already off the list because I think better things have come out. But this was a pleasant surprise after the first, half hour or so.
Is it a slow burn?
For me, it's not, but I love movies where nothing happens. So I don't know. I was always interested in what was on screen. I will say that the one thing I think is probably the bravest thing about this movie is that it doesn't really care if you're uncomfortable. And it doesn't shortcut any of the uncomfortable scenes. So that's something that's sorely missing in modern American cinema. We never like keeping our audiences to be uncomfortable. That's one of the problems I had with Black Phone is that it's a completely comfortable experience watching that movie. It feels warm and fuzzy all the way through. For it's trying to be a crowd pleaser. This movie does things that people are going to have issues with, and I love that. Would you agree, Ghost?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious what you said in the first half hour, first third, you weren't so happy with. What specifically?
It doesn't have a through line. It's very unfocused, and it's trying to just build character. I get it, but you can do that and have something with forward momentum. Mm-hmm. And I was worried the whole movie was going to be that, because you kind of know where it's going, right? I mean, it doesn't hide. The entire plot is what you think it's going to be. It's not like there's some big twist in it. But that first half hour, it's really aimless. And even the filmmaking techniques were kind of like on the nose obvious. Later on, Ty West brings out the Ty West we know. But that beginning is I thought I was in for a bad time. I thought, wow, I wasn't excited for this, but this is a step down. And then the table scene happened. And you can watch like a more aggressive filmmaking style just take over the movie at that point. And then it becomes a kind of, I'm not going to say fascinating, but it always wraps your attention. So I would go out and see it. I didn't mean to see it. I meant to see Barbarian, but apparently hard drives can be corrupted at theaters. So there you go.
I'm really happy for Ty West. It wasn't long ago I was complaining that we don't have enough Ty West, and then we get 2 Ty West theatrical films in the same year, and Maxine, the sequel to X, is coming out sometime soon. So
wait, so that's the trilogy ending, right? Like it's X, then Pearl, then Maxine.
I hope so. I hope
think
it's
so.
over at that point.
Which one's Maxine? I forgot.
It's the survivor. It's the final girl of the first film.
Oh, okay.
All about Mia Goth, which
it's spelled with 3 X's because it's the third film and it's about her in the porn industry in 1985.
And yet
marketing
the
tool.
culture won't go after this. I don't.
The only thing I'm worried about is and I know it won't go supernatural. At least I hope it doesn't go supernatural because of what they built. But Starry Eyes already did that really well as doing the horror / porn thing and what it does to people. I hope it goes in a very different direction than I think it will. But I mean, listen, Ty West has a great batting average. By the way, Piz, he went away from theatrical, but he was doing a ton of television during that time. He did an episode of the Scream television series. He did all.
Yeah.
He was doing work. It's just, it wasn't out of work. It's just, yeah, getting to the big screen was an issue.
Yeah, I remember seeing his name pop up on an episode of Scream when I was watching Machine Gun and that whole series. So, yeah, I mean, I'm I'm happy for him, and hopefully he'll get some more theatrical opportunities, maybe some bigger budgeted stuff, and he'll keep keep doing what he's doing. Mike, have you seen anything good lately?
I wouldn't say good. I watched The Invitation, which was pretty much terrible. I put it on Twitter. I kind of felt like the film was basically saying that was Evie the main character. It was kind of felt like she was meant to be like Meghan Markle, and the family that she was going to visit were like the royal family. Kind of, I don't know whether that was what they were going for. I'm looking too much into it, but it did have those vibes of like an outsider coming to like this elitist sort of very white upper class family, and you've got like this mixed race woman who comes in and like upsets the apple cart. It could be maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but that's how I saw it. I also watched Beast with Idris Elba, which was just a dumb, fun killer lion movie, which it was entertaining enough. It got terrible reviews, but I had a decent time with it,
Cool. Yeah, I've not heard very good things about The Invitation. I kind of still want to watch it. I did watch a movie. I think it's probably going to be somewhat similar to it. It's the new Neil LaBute film called what's it called? House of Darkness. And I don't know if you know who Neil LaBute is. He directed In the Company of Men, which is an awesome movie. And then he did the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man, and we haven't heard from him in a while. So I was kind of excited to see this because it's it's low budget, it's small cast, it's intimate. It's one of those movies that the entirety of the movie is all about the ending or the last 10-15 minutes. It's all a build up to that last 10-15 minutes. And then when that last 10-15 minutes happened, I went, well, that was 90 minutes of my life I'll never get back. So wasn't a big fan, unfortunately, but I will still see The Invitation eventually.
Yeah, that one's on my list. I think you guys kind of ruined it with your last stream. I didn't know it was a vampire movie, so I was like, oh, well, thanks, guys.
Well, nobody was supposed to know it's a vampire movie, but then the trailer told you it's a vampire movie. Jonathan's joined us. What's up, Jonathan?
Howdy, boys.
How you doing tonight, sir?
Not too bad. Just got out of Pearl.
Pearl. We were just talking some Pearl. What'd you think of Pearl?
Don't ruin it.
No, I think Lauren hit the nail on the head. That movie takes a turn abruptly, and that's when it really gets good. But no, I did find myself wondering what the hell I was watching there for a bit. I didn't know if it was going to go on with this whole musical shtick, and I don't know. I didn't know if it was going to continue that for the rest of the movie, and if it was, I would have been disappointed.
But the dance number you do get at the end is awesome.
Yeah,
it is.
Is it better than the ending for Hawkeye? Because that ending sequence was amazing.
No, it wasn't like a
well. If I'd seen that, I could respond maybe.
Oh.
X is the preferred movie to me, but Pearl is just fine.
Now, did they like what they did with X? Was there an after credit sequence in Pearl for Maxine?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's very slight. It's very.
There was an end credit scene in X.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it was the trailer for.
It was the trailer for.
Son
Pearl,
of a
pretty
bitch!
much.
I didn't even know. All right, my bad. God damn.
So I saw my new favorite film of the year this week.
Okay, go with that.
Saloom. It's on Shudder right now. It is streaming. It is from Senegal, which, if you don't know where Senegal is, it's in Africa. It's a French language film, but the dialogue is really easy to follow. It's amazing.
How do you spell that in case anybody wants to?
SALOUM. What I here, because you guys want me to piss you off, here you go. It's as if From Dusk Till Dawn was a real movie.
Oh.
But it's not vampires. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
It's a movie that bridges two genres brilliantly. It has some of the most compelling characters in eons. The acting is amazing. And the film visually is unreal. It's world-class filmmaking in the genre. It's also in the hard crime genre at the same time. So it's interesting because it's cross-genre, it's bold, it makes decisions that you're just not expecting. You're not going to be able to pick the survivors at the beginning of the movie that'll be around at the end. So it's unpredictable. The score is great. It's a masterpiece. It's amazing. I didn't think anything was going to overtake Moloch this year. I really thought that was the film of the year. Well, guess what? I have a new favorite. So check out some
whodunit mystery. Like who's the killer, or is it?
No. It's about I mean, I'll give you the elevator pitch on it without ruining anything. It's about a bunch of mercenaries who do things like topple governments. It's about three men, and during a coup d'état in Senegal in '93, they are paid by a cartel to extract a drug dealer back to Mexico. And they have some plane trouble and end up in a town called Saloum. And there's a lot going on in the town. It's the one thing I'm going to say to everyone. You'll like it on first watch. I have no question about that. Watch it a second time for all the buried information in the first half. It is amazingly well written. And I love the idea of getting I've never seen a film from Senegal before. Have you? It's a whole different culture with a whole different folklore base. It's just... If you wanted something fresh, you can't get fresher than this movie, and it all works.
So, what genre is it? I know it's on Shudder, but is it?
It's cross genre of what I'd say is hard crime and horror, and supernatural horror.
So the Batman meets Faust.
I wouldn't go Batman. I would go like something like Reservoir Dogs meets. I don't want to spoil the second half of the movie.
Yeah,
okay, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
It's too good. It's too good, and that's a movie that takes a turn too. But when it takes it, you'll be along for a whole different fun ride. But it's also got some intensity to it that you're not going to be ready for either. I mean that movie puts you against the wall. So,
cool. Let me give a shout out here to our buddy Nico. Thank you, Nico, for the $10 super chat, sir. Appreciate that very much. Good to see you back in the chat, and hopefully we'll see you return to the stream sometime soon. We've missed you, so thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Now, Jack, I know you've got to go here shortly. You've got to put the kids to bed and whatnot.
Yeah.
Jack.
Yes, sir.
Jack is a filmmaker. And Jack has got a movie coming out soon. Jack, I'll just let you tell us about it.
All right. Oh, okay. I have a couple movies coming out. I'm creator of the Paranoia tapes. You can actually find I think like 2 through 9 on Tubi. For some reason, they don't want to put out the first one, which is really crazy. But you can find the first one on our YouTube, which is I'm JHP LLC right here in the chat. And you guys can find it there, but yeah, we have Amityville Rideshare.
That's the one that's piqued my interest.
Yes,
listen, listen. You appropriating the Amityville name pissed off Jonathan so much he left. He said, "I'm out of here." He's that much of an Amityville purist.
That's not true. He went to go watch it.
Oh, well, wow. I need to know where he's watching it because it's okay. All right, well, cool. No, Amityville Rideshare, honestly, I don't want to give too much away with it, but I'll tell you, like, don't take it seriously. Okay, so it's no, seriously. No, I'm telling you, as the filmmaker and writer of this, don't go into this thinking, oh my God, this is gonna be like Blumhouse style Amityville. No, it's found footage. And if you watch the trailer on Facebook, it really reveals nothing about it. But there's just so many parts of the film that's pretty fun. It's fun. I'll say that. It's cheesy. It's fun. It has killer clowns chasing people through downtown. We actually had the police block off downtown where I live in the area, and we like used the courthouse and the streets, and it was pretty badass because you get asked because. Well, apparently, like I did an interview at a local radio station, and apparently it pissed off a lot of the old people because they couldn't go, another block and around. So they were calling news. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So they were calling people and being like, "What's going on downtown? The police won't let me go down the road I normally go down." Well, we're filming a movie. And yeah, so Amityville, it's fun, and it's not serious, I mean, that's pretty much all I can really say about it. I would suggest, though, this may be a slight spoiler, but not really. Watch at least part 2 of Paranoia Tapes, because there may be a crossover or two, of certain characters. And I think that's what I did with that was really, in a sense, marketing. Because if people watch it, and I mean, people are going to watch it. It has Amityville in the title, so it's like people are if people hate it, it's okay. I really won't be offended. But when you watch it, you're gonna want to watch like, wait, where are these characters from? What is this? So it'll kind of branch off. The other one that I have coming up, I'm actually editing right now. I'm literally at the end of at the reveal, the biggest part of the film. It's called Blamed, and basically it's a found footage film. If you didn't pick up, I have the longest running found footage franchise in cinema history. That's what Paranoia Tapes is, and I'm just known for found footage. But I did have another cinematic film called Horror Nights that was #1 in America in April of 2020, right during COVID. I was the first independent company and filmmakers that released a film to the drive-in theaters that was brand new and everything. And then Hollywood caught wind and put out The Wretched and said, "Screw you guys." And Entertainment Weekly gives a #1 spot to The Wretched and no mention of us. But Blamed is a really deep film. When you walk out of it or after you watch it, you are literally going to message your kids if you have children and tell them you love them, because it's about I dive into a part of horror that actually hits really hard, and the reason I came up with the idea and concept, I was thinking of what is one topic that would make parents just dive in and tune into it. And what that was like the kidnapping of children, killing children.
This sounds way too deep and heavy. Let's go back to talking about Amityville Rideshare. That's what I want to talk about. When is Amityville Rideshare coming out?
It should be out by the end of October.
Okay, I want to see that. I hopefully will receive some sort of link to watch it.
Oh, this is everyone. This is him formally asking. Yes, I will send you the link first. Oh, once it is done, I will send it to you. And yeah, but yeah, sorry. So yeah, Blamed is my baby, and Amityville is just fun. It's very deep. I apologize. I didn't mean to go that deep, guys. But yeah, I mean, you could check out the trailer on Facebook. It literally reveals nothing, and that's the way I like to do it. I love trailers that do that mess with the viewer, like Scream 5 did. Like everything in that trailer was pretty much like 90% of it was not in the movie. Right. But Amityville is just it stars Cheryl Prater. You guys may or may not know her. She's a independent actress. She just did a film with Bruce Willis. I think one of his last films. And I have like up and coming actors in this film, and it's so. That's what I love to do. I love taking people who aren't actors and putting them in a movie. because one, as a director and writer, you can like mold them to what you want them to say. You know, you can say cut, okay, say it like this, and they'll do it. And I love giving people opportunity.
If you're looking for talent,
yes,
Lorne is actually trying to break into acting. So
I don't think he makes the type of films we're talking about.
Well, I mean, if it's NC-17, Lorne, I need an ass double, man. You know, with my contract, you know,
there's a price tag on everything. Don't worry.
Oh, well, no, I'm
every man has his price.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely true.
$5 is still $5, guys. Okay. All right, you can still buy.
Have you been out and trying to buy anything recently? $5 is definitely not still $5.
No, it's
well,
not.
I mean, $1.25 DVD, so you can get like 3.5 DVDs at Dollar Tree.
And I recommend doing so.
By the way, this is my daughter, Erin. You want to say hi to the world? There's like millions watching. You want to say hi?
Hi, Erin.
Okay, we're about to be done, and I'm about to be done, and I'll get you some candy. But yeah, you know, if you guys, here's the thing. I actually, if you wanna, if anyone, because I'm still editing it, I should be done in like 2 weeks, with the editing, and then I can send it off to Piz. But if anybody wants to film something kind of gimmicky, like found footage style, reach out to us. You know, go to JHP Studios on Facebook and send me a message. And you know, like if you want to be a part of it, like I said, I love giving people opportunities. And it's kind of like an anthology film as well. So it's like it doesn't follow one certain storyline, but there is an overall storyline. I'd say it's like it's a cheesy VHS. That is honestly the best way I can describe it. You know, and it's so blatant that it's Amityville because people say it a lot. You know, so that's how you know it's gimmicky. It's like, oh, things about to go down in Amityville, and then it's like, hello, Amityville. It's like, okay, we get it. It's Amityville.
Well, we'll definitely be keeping an eye out, or I certainly will, for Amityville Rideshare. But Jack, I know you've got to take care of the kids. Thank you for joining us tonight, man. Hopefully the first of many Patron streams, and maybe we can premiere Amityville Rideshare on
you
a Patron
want to do that,
stream.
Piz? You say
I don't know. Let me think about that. It might be too graphic. I don't know. Let me think about that.
Really, there's really nothing graphic about it. If you want to premiere it, here is your chance. I'll give you the premiere. You say it, you want it, you got it.
Let me think about that. Let me think. It's a big decision. Let me think about it. All right.
Hey, only if Lon can be like the Mystery Science 3000. You know, or the rest of you guys while we're watching it.
Lauren will provide some wonderful commentary.
All right, guys. Well, look, I'm going to roll out. It was great to be here. Thanks, everyone, for letting me be a part of this. I talk a lot. I apologize. You guys are like my people. I've been following Piz for over a year with my mask collection. And you can check me out. I do Get Masked, and I probably have the largest world's record of bootleg Michael Myers masks. Kids are coming in. They're about to get loud. Later, guys.
All right. See you, buddy. So keep your eyes peeled. Amityville Rideshare coming soon. Jonathan, he's gone. You can come back now.
Piz, can you do me a big favor?
Sure.
Can you bring Nico's comment that starts with "Tonight I'm just here" back up on screen?
Let me find it here. Nico.
I don't think we've shown enough love for Nico.
I'm just here polishing my slipcovers.
Like these?
Which is
like
no, Lauren. Oh man.
It's a thick one though, because it's glossy. It's hard to rip.
But see,
one of my favorite films of all time. But I love films, not cardboard.
Sean Cunningham still got paid for that, even though you destroyed it.
He got paid for the movie. He didn't get paid for the cardboard. I promise you.
He's got a stake in it.
You know who didn't get paid for that cardboard? Victor Miller.
Yeah, probably true. Probably true. Let's talk about, did everybody see the trailer? They finally dropped the trailer for the Hellraiser Hulu movie. What do y'all think of that?
I've never seen a Hellraiser movie.
You've never seen any
The
Hellraiser
amount of
movies?
people for a 90-second trailer. Everybody's reacting like it's going to be the most amazing film of the year. It's like it's a 90-second trailer, and everybody's like losing the shit over it. I'm like, what do you think it's going to? What are you expecting? I'm not okay. I'm not the biggest Hellraiser fan, so I'm biased in the negative. But it's a 90-second trailer, and people are saying, literally, people are saying this is going to be the best film since the original. Based on what?
Yeah.
What are you basing that on?
The trailer should make it look good.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's not going to be hard to be in the top 3 of that franchise. Okay.
No,
They haven't been trying to make good films for a long damn time.
It'll, you know,
I think Judgment was decent.
Judgment. I like Judgment. I thought Judgment was good.
Yeah, the other ones, yeah, I agree with you. They're way below par.
I love the second film. The second film is my favorite Hellraiser film by a long shot. I think it surpasses everything the first film accomplishes. But I haven't liked the film since the second film. So, I mean, it's been a long road for me.
But Ghost. Watch Hellraiser, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Watch Hellraiser.
I'll watch the first one.
No, you really should watch Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2 back to back, because it's really a continuation.
And the second film is just so much bigger in scope and beautiful and well done. Do it.
And really, I mean, the first 4 films sort of follow the same kind of story.
Yeah, I actually don't mind Bloodlines. I thought that was decent.
I love Bloodline. And
jump through the different periods.
Mm-hmm. I love Bloodline. I love unabashedly. And Inferno, which was the first direct to DVD Hellraiser, I don't think is bad at all. Beyond that, I mean, they're really difficult for me to tell apart. They just Hellseeker and Hell Bakery and Hell Bathroom. They all just kind of bleed together to me until you get to Revelation, and it's like, oh my God, what were they thinking? And then they rebound with Judgment.
It's their Hellraiser rideshare, right?
Don't give Jack any ideas. That'll be the next one. Yeah, you definitely should watch at least the first 2. Part 3 is fun, but part 3 they tried to do with Pinhead. They tried to make Pinhead Freddy, circa Nightmare 4. He's a lot.
It's goofy.
Lot of punning. He's basically just a slasher, but I still like it. It's a lot of fun.
What about the disc jockey with the CDs in his head?
Hate that.
CD Cinnabite.
So bad.
The CD Cinnabite. You got the cocktail waiter Cinnabite. The cameraman Cinnabite. Yeah.
Part of me died that day in the theater.
Oh, you saw that in the theater? Nice.
At the Cineplex Odeon in Edison, New Jersey, to be particular.
Very nice. Yeah, but Ghost.
Yeah, I saw a Hellraiser film in the birthplace of cinema, literally where film cameras were invented.
Wow. One of the best Hellraisers, by the way.
No. Well, actually, you might be right there, and that's kind of scary. Because
do you like Inferno, Lauren?
I only saw all the sequels once, I think. Inferno that's just the like bad cop one, right? Because there's 2 bad cop movies. Yeah. But there's a good one and there's a quote unquote good one and a really awful one. And then the one that Ashley Lawrence came back is like awful. That's an awful.
Yeah, film. That was a waste.
That was the only reason why I even rented that one, because she was in it, and then it was like,
you bring her back and you don't turn her into Pinhead, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, ridiculous.
That's where that character goes.
Yeah. She instead of her making a deal with Pinhead, she should have like become Pinhead, or at least become like some sexy Cinnabite that Pinhead gets freaky with, or something. You know.
It had the actor that does the Mayhem commercials.
Yeah, that dude. Yeah,
I love that dude. I love that dude so much.
Yeah.
Oh, and Hellraiser Hellworld had Superman in it.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
And Lance Henderson, I think.
Lance Henderson's in Hellworld too. Yeah. That's one of those, my kids need sneakers movies for him. Yeah. But he made some money. But yeah, the trailer for the new Hellraiser, it looks promising. I'll definitely want to see it. I posted a poll on my channel asking people what they thought of it. Let me pull that up real quick. It was mostly positive, it seemed like. So the new Hellraiser trailer, 323 votes, 50% were thumbs up, which is good. 34% were meh, and 16% were thumbs down. So overall, it seems like people like the trailer, or at least it instilled hope in them.
Can I ask you a question, Piz, about the reaction to
Sure.
everything around, not just to the trailer, but everything around this? The fact that they're really adapting the novella Hellbound Heart. That's kind of a dangerous position, right? Because like hardcore Clive Barker fans are finally happy.
Mhm.
But I think there is a sizable part of the audience that just wants another Pinhead adventure.
Mhm.
And if they follow the novella, that's not what they're getting.
Right.
So do you, as satisfying as it might be to finally get a proper adaptation, do you think it's commercial suicide? Because I can't decide.
I don't know. I think it's I mean, that's a good question. I guess it depends. Well, it depends. Are the people who are going to watch this Hellraiser, how beloved are the other Hellraiser movies to them? Because I mean, clearly, the Hell Priest is sort of a background character in the novel, really, or the novella, really. But it seems like she's going to be more front and center here. I don't know. I don't know.
It seems like they might have conflated two characters, because the main Cenobite that actually does most of the talking is a female in the novella. And so, I mean, it seems like they combined the two characters for this, but it does look like they're trying to go for the mood, and it might be surprisingly like sexual, which the movies never were brave enough to do, because the novella is pretty, like all of Barker's stuff is pretty graphic sexually. So it should be, I don't know. I'm at least interested.
You don't think the first movie did that?
It tried. I think they made some, I don't know. The first film is problematic for me because it's basically a vampire movie until it's not. It's the whole feasting on blood, rebuilding. It's a little bit frustrating to me because that's not what the novella is. But then whatever, it's Clive's own work. He adapted it. He has free reign, and I respect that. I just felt the second film the second film was brave enough to go wherever the hell it wanted, and it went all of there, right?
Yeah, it definitely expanded it.
Oh, the scope is just huge. It was great to see the characters back. It was great to see a real representation of hell that made sense in that world. I love Leviathan. I know that was controversial when the movie came out, what Leviathan actually looked like, but I loved it.
I will say one bad thing about the second one was how quickly the doctor who became the new Cenobite got rid of the other Cenobites.
I love that scene.
Like he cuts the throat.
Because but that's the thing. You're not expecting the iconic characters to go to the wayside that quickly, and that's the point.
I should have said spoiler. Sorry.
Ghost isn't going to watch him anyway. He's just nodding.
I'll watch the first two.
No, I love Chenard. I actually always thought that if I had to pitch a Hellraiser film, it would be, Hellraiser Chenard, and it would be a direct sequel to the second film with that character resurrected. Because I think that character is fascinating. It's that scene in The Exorcist where Reagan's getting the spinal tap, right? So that sequence is really horrifying and nasty, but like it informs the rest of the movie if you're paying real close attention. And I feel like they did that with, Hellbound as well. Whereas, like, of course, the doctor, like, takes out the priest. Of course that happens, right? So I think it's, I think there's more going on in that movie than people give it credit for. I love the scope of it. Yeah, the budget barely could do most of what they wanted to do, but I think it looks better as a film than the first film does. I think those optical effects at the end of the first film are... I want them gone. I wouldn't mind someone Lucasing them right the hell out of the movie.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'd heard that originally they wanted the main villain to be the woman. and I forget her name.
Well, Claire Higgins is the actress's name.
Okay. Yeah, and she didn't want her career to go that route, and I actually thought that would be a really good idea.
Well, she kind of is the main villain
Yeah,
of the
that is
film, because
true,
she kind of, I mean, the movie's really about her. And the novel's really, well, the novella. Well, the novella's a family piece, kind of, but yeah, you know, she's really the villain of that film, and you know, yeah. Sorry, I trailed off there. What were you going to say? Were you going to add anything to that, Swaggy?
No, I was just saying I thought that would be a really interesting take to have a female villain in the horror series, a franchise. You know.
Yeah. Well, they brought her back for the sequel, and she's just a straight up villain in the sequel. So
And she's awesome.
No. I still remember the first time I rented that movie, seeing her skinless. It had an effect on me as a kid. I was like, I don't believe what I'm seeing here.
The mattress scene is legendary.
Oh, the mattress scene is incredible.
Yeah.
I like her all wrapped up like a mummy, and like the blood and the kid. Oh, yeah.
There's nothing that chilling in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. There's
Well,
not.
no, I'll disagree with that slightly, Dan. In the first film, I always say this: Freddy Krueger isn't the scary thing in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm.
It's your dead classmates in body bags beckoning you outside the room. That shit, the pool of blood with eels in it. That's what we needed from the franchise, and they never did it again. They never went for disturbing imagery like that again. And that's the big tragedy of that franchise.
It's funny seeing like the reaction to this new movie, because Hellraiser did not start off as a slasher franchise at all. Like, and that's not the material. So I hope people don't get too negative about it being a female or a trans person, I believe, that was cast, because if you read Hellbound Heart, it was a feminine asexual, I believe was the exact wording. So again, the fans made Pinhead. Pinhead was just, Doug Bradley almost played the mattress mover because he wanted his face to be seen. It's insane. But the fans made Pinhead, and like, I get it. I know a lot of people prefer 3. It kind of drives me kind of crazy, but yeah. So I have faith. It's a great director. It could be a big steaming pile of crap, but I'm hopeful. I'm more hopeful than Halloween Ends, personally, because Hellraiser's my franchise. So
I wonder how much of the Hellraiser script that he turned the night what's it called, the Night House into is in this Hellraiser. I wonder if he brought any of those elements over from that script into this one.
Yeah, because that was like originally like adapted from a Hellraiser script, or like you watched that and I was like, man, I could see like just the box or something showing up at the end and just being a big mind blower. They could have made it work. I have a lot of hope. I know it's been a while. Judgment actually is a pretty decent no budget movie, but you know, they still shot a chunk of that in a warehouse basically, and it shows. But I feel pretty good about this one, to be honest. I think a lot of people will be surprised, and I haven't even watched this 90-second trailer yet, so I'm not really sure to judge it by that. But yeah,
I don't know. One thing I did like, I like that the Cenobites are all naked, like no leather, bondage outfits or robes or whatever. They're all just naked.
Yeah. That works.
Yeah. I like the guy who it's like his skull is gone, but his they've still got his face and it's flat and it's like pulled onto these things. That looks kind of cool.
Yeah. I don't know that it's actually the Hellbound Heart adaptation now, because they say it takes place in the same universe. So I'm not exactly sure.
I don't know either. Yeah.
I don't know if this new, again, I haven't watched the trailer. I've had a busy couple days, but I don't know if that shines any light on that for those of you who have watched it. But I know on IMDb there's some characters, like I imagine that might be Kirsty there, but I'm not sure. So I'm very curious. I've avoided a lot of news on it, so I'm hopeful.
We do get a flash of what appeared to be Leviathan in the trailer. If you notice, looked like Leviathan coming out of some clouds. So maybe we'll have a little Leviathan in there.
Yeah, it initially at one point it was just going to be like a instead of what we got in Hellbound, it was just going to be a standard like goopy Lovecraftian monster was how it was kind of pitched. And it's hard for me to judge whether the first one or Hellbound is better because I just kind of put them right on par. But I wouldn't really argue with somebody either way on that.
Yeah, I almost think of them as the same movie, kind of the how Halloween and Halloween 2 kind of spill over into each other. Only Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2 do it much better. I mean, you can literally watch them back to back, and be like, yeah, this is all just one movie.
Yeah. We're getting ready to do like a whole franchise show, which is probably going to be like 7 hours, knowing me. And there's so much
entire franchise.
We're covering everything. Yeah, I'm so like right now, and I'll throw this out as a recommendation for people that want to know more about the movies is Paul Kane's book, The Hellraiser Films and Their Legacy. Gives you it doesn't have anything on Judgment, but it's a good kind of rundown of the production history. And I think what Tony Randall did on 2 is amazing because they had to go through so many issues, Andrew Robinson bowing out with less than 2 weeks to film. He doesn't get enough credit for really making a classic film under extraordinarily difficult circumstances.
Yeah. Anybody else thoughts on the Hellraiser trailer? If you saw it, did it at least pique your interest in the film? Because it's coming out in it's October 7th. So I mean, that is pretty soon. Yeah, that's a couple of weeks away. So I'm looking forward to it. Dan, you weren't here in the beginning, but have you seen anything good lately?
I watched. I did see Pearl, which I actually enjoyed more than X. I haven't heard anybody's opinion really on Pearl yet, but I imagine I'm in the minority there. Is what I would guess. But Maya Goth is amazing. If you've watched it, not to give anything away, but that monologue she gives, like, she's just fantastic. But ironic.
Did you prefer that to the mother's speech at the table? Because I think they're like both like just unbelievable moments.
Yeah, she was really, really good as well. It's a very different. It wasn't what I expected exactly because it's a very different movie from X.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you got this first. I don't know if a lot of the fans out there that just wanted the standard slasher, I don't know if they would have embraced this the same way.
From everything that I've heard about it on social media is people seem to be really liking it. So, I mean, that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah, no, it's great. I saw Solemn. I might be saying that wrong, but I saw that on Shudder. That I thought was fantastic. Not exactly what I was expecting, and I do recommend that very highly for a Shudder watch. It's going to be a really rough year to break down a top 10.
Yeah, Lauren was talking about Saloom earlier, so it's on my list now.
Yeah.
Don't let the fact that it's in French throw you. It's one of the easiest subtitled films you're ever going to see because the dialogue is all very compact. It's incredibly easy to follow and still stay engaged in the movie. It's remarkable.
Good, very good.
I was expecting something a lot cheaper looking from
it's
Senegal.
gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm like, God damn, this feels like a Hollywood movie. It's really good.
Better because they would have done all that on a computer.
Yeah. I was gonna say, just it's a beautiful film to look at, and the three mercenaries.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, it felt like they were out of a graphic novel. I hope the filmmaker can get some big money for a follow-up. I could see Hollywood snatching him.
there's a shot of the because the town is at the point where the river meets the sea, right? That's the whole point. And there's a shot of the coastline with all the fishing boats. It's a drone shot. It is probably the most gorgeous open landscape shot I've ever seen in a film. It'll just stop you dead, and you'll be like, "This is why they invented photography."
Yeah, it's really, and I think it's actually going to please most people. Like, I've recommended it as like, I don't know, I don't know if I want to watch a movie from a country I've literally never heard of, but the ones I've gotten to watch it so far, I haven't had a negative opinion on it yet, luckily.
That's good. That's good.
No.
Very good. Very good. Anything else good come to mind?
I'd say avoid the Goodnight Mommy remake. It was just kind of pointless. Very familiar territory. Naomi Watts is good, but that one kind of, I don't know. We had to review it, and I was just like, this didn't need to be made. Not Inside or Martyrs level where it literally didn't need to happen, but it was, yeah. Those are my recent watches.
Anybody excited for Rob Zombie's Halloween, which is Rob Zombie's Monsters?
The whole chat just disappeared.
Yeah, everybody's that's right. Breaking news: he is making another Halloween film. It's happening. No, but the Monsters is that's coming out very soon. Are we excited for the Monsters? Ghost, you look thrilled.
Nope. Zero interest whatsoever. Yeah,
I'm with you on that, Ghost.
Yeah.
To me, Rob Zombie is hit or miss.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, I'm not a big fan of his. I think he's talented in a way because he writes, he directs the music. But I just, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's like, like a bad trailer or trailers, that could be it, but I don't think so. I just have no interest whatsoever. And something about, I'm sure there's people who think the having it in color is a good idea. Maybe it is. I don't know. But the second I saw that first frame and it was in color, I'm just like, I'm out. I don't care. Zero interest. So.
It's not just a bad trailer.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I will not be bothering.
This is a bad choice, but my favorite movie by him is Lords of Salem.
I know a lot of people who love that movie. I didn't. I may revisit it at some point because I know there were a lot of interesting things going on in it, and visually it looked good. But I don't remember anything else about it other than I really didn't like it. But a lot of people do like Lords of Salem. When I hear people talk about Rob Zombie, that one pops up. So,
yeah, I get the whole House of 1,000 Corpses, the violence, the aggression, but Lords of Salem, I felt like was just a really solid written movie.
Yeah, I think he definitely tried to do something different with Lords of Salem. And so, yeah, that's kind of why I think about going back to that one sometimes, because it's not, I'll crawl over there and, make love to your skull violently kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the new Monsters. I'll just say there's one joke that I think there's going to be like some people that it'll make angry. It's of a sexual nature, and I was a little surprised, although it's a little vague. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what everybody thinks, but I would keep your expectations very low.
Is it out? Have you seen it?
I did get to see it early, and I don't know if I'm allowed to elaborate too much yet, but it's yeah.
Where's it going to be released? Is it
Rob will actually be selling it outside the closed mall out of the trunk. PW Buck from 79.
Yeah, it comes out a week or a little less than a week. Yeah, dude, 27th, I believe. I can't remember if VOD's before the Blu-ray.
So it's not going to be released in theaters?
No, not as far as I'm aware. I've not heard anything about a theatrical screening. I would say with this one, unless you're just a Monsters diehard,
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend going to the theater. But it's Rob Zombie, so like the thing is, he has his fan base. I think there's going to be people that do like it a lot. It is visually kind of interesting, but beyond that, I wouldn't. It's not getting a recommendation for me. Oh, lost Biz.
Oh, this is gone.
Now we can breathe.
What's you, Lon?
What's new? You want to see what I got in the mail this week?
Yeah.
I got to ask you a question about a movie you like.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Is that a custom piece, or is that like something that you had made?
So
I mean, is it you just
Dark
pre-made?
Designs. They make them custom. It took about 4 months from the time I ordered it to it being in my hands. I've seen a lot of shit X masks, which is why I've never bit down on the offers. This is like 100% accurate, 100%, shockingly accurate. And the coolest thing about it is it's held together by magnets.
Oh wow!
Right. So
No.
yeah.
Oh, that looks great.
So all those of you who hate X, just grow up.
I got to ask you, you mentioned Innkeepers being a modern classic.
Absolutely. It's my favorite Ty West film.
Well, what is it that you like about that so much? I mean, do y'all agree with that?
I wouldn't expect everyone to agree with that. You have to not only love slow burns, you have to appreciate kind of a Shirley Jackson-esque approach to horror to really love that movie.
That disrespect to Rob Zombie got me so mad. I accidentally kicked my power strip and caused it to shut off. I was so mad.
Scary thing is, when he did that, all of Kentucky lost power.
A good chunk of it probably did, yes. So, anyway, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dan. Go right ahead.
Oh no, Lauren was talking about
I'm
Innkeepers. I'm more of a House of the Devil guy, but I do like Innkeepers a lot. I think those two movies are still his best work.
Yeah.
See, I watched X, and then I went back. I've seen House of the Devil, and then I went back and watched the Innkeepers, and because it was Ty West, that's why I checked it out. And I don't see why people really enjoy that so much. It was just not much of a payoff, in my opinion.
I think it's just the most literary horror film we've gotten in decades. It's more similar to reading a great classic horror novel from maybe the 50s or 60s, really. So it's going to be a specific audience, but I love that movie. I think the performances are great. I think the burn is wonderfully, but it's not just it's like a slow boil almost, whereas you're waiting for the water to boil. And for me, it paid off. For other people, it might not have. That's cool. But I don't think you can look at that film and not see the obvious greatness of the filmmaking in it. It might not be your thing, but it's pretty. I think it's a Titanic film.
A lot of people would say Sacrament too. Like I hear that from a lot of people.
I did like that. Yeah,
I love Sacrament.
I like Sacrament a lot. Ty West has really not disappointed me yet. Again, like I said at the beginning when we were talking about Pearl, is he's kind of in that Cronenberg mold, whereas we can pick at the films, but there's not a bad film there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think for the right audience, Innkeepers is going to be like one for the ages. And House of the Devil is a little bit more obvious in its horror tropes, even though I think it's so ridiculously well done. It's there's a lot of ride with the devil going on there, but listen, I wish that people always say about Ty West, oh, I wish one of the big franchises would get him to. I don't want that at all. Let him keep doing what he's passionate about. Don't rope him into the mainstream shit because it cannot lead to good things for him or for that franchise. Let him keep making originals.
Do you think his like, because he clearly has an interest to kind of like a nostalgia and a certain kind of like aesthetic. Do you think that ever kind of gets in the way of like his story or telling or filmmaking? I don't think so, but I could see that argument. I'm curious what you think of that.
I think he's just allergic to the modern conveniences because I think they get in the way of effective horror storytelling. He likes the compact terror, right? So among my writer friends, what we always talk about is like, how do you avoid the obvious problems? Like, oh, there's someone in the house. Well, you have a cell phone there. You make a call and barricade yourself. That used to not be the case, right? So there's a whole different fight or flight mechanism at play today in modern horror that wasn't true if you said it in 1985, if you said it in 1979, certainly if you said it in 1918. So I think that he's just more interested in those compact horrors that can't, yes, a telephone call probably could save you in these situations, but you don't have that option. So, and I think that's legit. Other people want to do more modern horrors that attack the things that scare us today. And some people want to go to the comfort food. Either can work. Just tell good stories and tell them well and innovatively. And I think he does that. So
see the thing about cell phones in horror. I mean, to me, it's a simple thing. You make it where you've got a cell phone, you can make a phone call, but help's not going to get there in time before I gut you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So then you've got a clock ticking because the cops are coming. That the killer's there. There's something on the line. You could really heighten that and make it suspenseful instead of just being like, oh, I don't have reception here.
Well, and Hellfest did that, right?
They do.
Hellfest weaponized the
Horns does it as well.
I don't know who's
they have to hand over the phone before they go in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Well, I don't like those scenes though, where we feel necessary.
Horns, I believe you said.
It's called Haunt.
Haunt. Oh, okay, my bad.
I don't like those scenes where they have to remove the cell phone to get back to that place because it's an arbitrary scene and it's artificial storytelling. So I hate those. Oh, hey, here's the bag. Put your phone in the bag type scenes, or the character wandering around going, I can't get signal. Can you get signal?
Yeah.
It's just like it's painful because it's obvious what they're doing.
Yeah.
It becomes a necessary evil. But what Piz is right. Like the threat has to be either more immediate now, or it needs to be something that a cell phone call can't fix. Like think about it, like Halloween 3, to use a really broad example that everyone can get their head around. No one you call is fixing that situation.
Right.
Day of the Dead. You're fine. It doesn't matter if the cell phones. Who are you going to call? The zombies? But that's the thing is like it's changed storytelling because there's certain stories that don't work anymore. When a Stranger Calls doesn't work today.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work unless you artificially remove that technology. And again, the more artificial storytelling ingredients you add to a movie, the less impactful the story is because people are sophisticated. They see what you're doing. They've seen it in 7 other movies this week.
Mm-hmm. Or you can make the telephone the threat where, kind of like, one thing that they did with, I thought was effective with the Scream television series is like every time you hear a phone ring, you're kind of like, ooh, that's bad. That's a bad omen. That means somebody's getting killed or someone's dead or the person receiving the call is about to die. So they sort of weaponized it in that series too. Let me throw this out there real quick because I totally forgot that Ty West directed Cabin Fever 2. I totally forgot about that.
I can't remember if he stepped in or he dropped off. I can't remember which way that went, but I don't think it was like all him.
Oh.
So you might give him a pass if you didn't like Cabin Fever 2.
Never seen it.
It's all right.
Was that Zero Patient?
No.
That's the third. Yeah.
Zero Patient is a big drop off.
Yeah. It's you were saying on the cell phone front. I actually had a lot of fun with it, but Barbarian is a good example where, yeah, you could have taken care of this situation with a damn call and having a brain in your head. But I did have a blast with that movie. I'm just saying, like, there's some scream at the screen moments for sure in that one.
Very cool. Here's another good question from Ben Grimm. What franchise would you give to Ty West to make his own?
Just let him do his own original. Yeah, I don't think I would. If I'm emperor of the horror genre, I'd just say make your own thing.
That's what he's doing now, right? He's creating a franchise.
Yeah, he's creating one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. If he does embrace a franchise, I hope it's the Leprechaun franchise. I think a Ty West Leprechaun film could be phenomenal.
I actually do like Leprechaun.
Oh, Dan's wearing a Leprechaun. Oh, what a coincidence. Dan's wearing a Leprechaun shirt.
I don't know if I'd pick him for that, but I do love Leprechaun.
You know what I would like to see him do, though? I mean, if we're going to force him into a commercial property, let's give him one of those classic golden era remakes that they're going to fuck up. Like, I'd rather him do Cat People than anyone else, because he'd at least get the time period and the look right. And hopefully he'd be smart enough to look at a screenplay and say, no, it's not ready yet. Let's bake it for a couple more months with until the writers get it right. But no, I'd prefer him to do originals. Again, X and Pearl, I don't think are great films. I think they're really fun films, but for American horror right now, that's probably as good as we're going to get. Sadly, my favorite American film of the year isn't a horror film. That should be a problem, because I see all this crap. And it is, by the way, because your favorite film of the year is my favorite American film of the year. It's just not at the top of my list.
What film is this?
Northman.
Oh, Northman, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, great movie. Great movie. I was thinking about Robert Eggers' Nosferatu, and I guess that's not happening now, but God, that would have been so good. That would have been so good.
It's a shame, like, of all the movies that people really and I know a lot of people listening to this show did, but as far as like a mass audience goes, like, Northman should have been embraced so much more than it was. That deserved to make $1 billion at the box office. It killed me when I mean, I guess it's not a miserable failure, but it really didn't make the money that it needed to make, unfortunately. And
yeah,
sad. That movie was just perfect.
Yeah, so good. I brought this up during my Sunday stream last Sunday, and I wanted to throw it out there to you guys. 10 years of Scream Factory. We had the 10-year anniversary of Scream Factory just the other day. I think it was actually that Sunday, as a matter of fact. It was, yeah. That when they released Halloween 2 and Halloween 3. Are there any favorite Scream Factory releases in your all's collection? Any favorites in your collection, Dan?
Yeah. I mean, Funhouse, of course. That was an early-ish one, I believe. The Fog. I mean, Pumpkinhead. They put out a lot of amazing stuff. Things kind of did dip in terms of quality. I will actually say, because I'm always dumping on Halloween, but the Halloween set was pretty amazing. I have not upgraded to any of the new 4Ks or anything yet. I'm kind of content, maybe just that and having the original maybe on 4K. They did amazing work. I don't know what happened along the way, because there's a lot of issues with them that other companies have not had in that kind of massive wave, because there's releases that the average person may not even realize there's an issue with it. But I know a lot of like tech geeks that are more knowledgeable than me, and it's like, look, here is this audio. They have been pointed out, like, this is the list, and the list is bigger than my arms put together. Like, it's a huge list of things that they've screwed up, and I don't know. There's a legacy there, but I'm not sure at this point why I wouldn't even put them in the top 5 anymore. I mean, Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, Arrow. You almost never have any issues with an Arrow release.
Even Mondo Macabre.
Mondo does not get talked about enough. I love Mondo. I think they have like 3 or 4 new movies coming out next, or not new, but new Blu-rays.
And everything from them that they say is limited is actually limited.
They do not lie. Yeah.
They don't lie to their go figure. They don't lie to their consumers.
Yeah, I think Scream Factory is at a point now where it's like, you don't like it, don't buy it. That's like
well, I know there's some I think like The Craft, that 4K that they put out had some issues with it, and Scream Factory just straight up ignored it. Like, sorry.
You're buying The Craft, you deserve it.
But so I mean, I guess it's kind of like they do their disc replacements kind of like GM does their product recalls. Or is it gonna be a big enough issue that we'll recall? If it's not, then you're stuck with it.
Yeah, I'm still amazed that there wasn't any disc replacement, at least last I checked, for Child's Play. I do not understand having what looks like a pile of gunk on the bottom of your disc, and they're not going to fix that.
I mean, they just said, wipe it off, go on about your day. It did come off, though, luckily. So,
yeah.
Piz, I did watch a movie that you would be interested in.
Sure.
All right. So I was at my local Goodwill, and I was digging through the DVDs, and I found a movie, never heard of it, went home and watched it. And I saw the clip that you show whenever somebody gives you a super chat donation.
I see where this is going.
And I was so happy that I actually found what movie that was by accident. And I tell you, there's just something about 80s Italian horror that is just interesting. It's a little bit off. It's very gory, obviously the practical effects. And I was just so happy that I found Burial Ground. If I heard it right. There we go.
And you found it in a Goodwill.
For $3. Yeah.
That is definitely the way to do it, sir.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something about like the Italian filmmakers, they try to make them look and feel American so that they can fool the American audiences, it just doesn't translate. It's like like you'll see one of those scenes where, like, if it's a little kid, they've got pinnacles or banners of like every single football team on their wall. A kid wouldn't like every single football team. They'd like one football team. But they just put all the teams on their wall or something like that. Like weird stuff like that sticks out to me when I watch Italian horror, and I'm just like, they just kind of don't get it. But I love that about it. They don't get it. And but
I watched I watched the special features, and that boy, I mean, this, but he's depicted to be like a 12-year-old in the movie, but he's actually in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
And obviously there was like a fetish he had with his mom. That leads to another scene that's pretty, I guess, iconic for that.
I must have missed that. Was it subtle?
Very subtle. Very, very subtle. Yes.
But I was so happy whenever I found that movie by accident, and I was like, "That's where he got it from."
Great movie. Great movie. Such a wacky movie. Yeah.
It's one of those, like, I guess I'll be watching this in my bedroom kind of movies. Just eject.
Even as a kid, I remember saying, like, why does the makeup not extend past the jawline?
But it works.
What's going on there? Yeah, I mean, it's like a fever dream. There's something. A lot of Italian film at that time had a weird kind of mesmerizing effect to it, whereas like the flaws were actually effective at evoking a very specific mood. And that's not something you could create by trying today, I don't think. It was a time and a place and a bunch of American distributors screwing with the movies actually after they left Italy too. So I mean, these movies were horrifically compromised. Not necessarily some of the big titles like Suspiria is Suspiria, right? But even the Fulci titles, they got messed with at home and abroad. So
and they all got released under like 20 different titles, and you know what I mean. So
if it didn't sell well in Cincinnati, they didn't want people in St. Louis to talk about it, so it came out under a different name.
Absolutely,
because it was the same 5 prints rolling across America.
Yeah, because I've heard that super. I guess it's the super chat and I was like, "What is that guy saying?" And I finally have heard it, and it's the cloth smells of death.
The cloth smells of death. Yes, the great Peter Bark. The great Peter Bark.
I'm sure there's a way to translate that line that would be a little bit more organic, but I'm glad they didn't.
I'm glad they didn't. Yeah. Nico wants to know, Lauren, if you're getting the Aero Italian Gothic box.
I really haven't researched whether I should yet. So my thing with physical media right now is I'm trying to be very, very proactive about getting what I actually want. The numbers have been horrific this year, worse than, well, I mean, we've been talking about for a couple of years of the numbers being bad, but this year is like cataclysmic. So now I'm on a hunt to make sure I get everything that I need to really, really have the collection that I want going forward. And yeah, Nico, and Angel for Satan is an absolutely amazing, amazing film. I have it on DVD. I wish there was a Barbara Steele box set. I know that's kind of crazy, but I wish for a lot of the secondary titles that someone would just put them all together. Barbara Steele is currently on my lawn, by the way. That's my lawn decoration for this year. Watch the video on my channel.
Yes.
And all my fingers intact this year.
Nice. That's a positive. It
wasn't true last year, so.
Swaggy or Ghost, do you guys have any favorite Scream Factory releases from their 10-year run?
I was just looking through my list because I couldn't recall a lot of them, but I don't. In terms of like quality of each release, I don't really have one, but I was really appreciative that they put out a good release of Session 9 when that came out, because that's one of my favorite movies ever that I was lucky enough to see in the theater when it came out, because I was living in Boston at the time, and the place about 30 minutes north of Boston. So we were lucky enough to get a few screenings. And I went with some friends and we saw it. We were in the back of the theater. There was nobody there, of course. It was kind of sad, but yeah, that movie's awesome. And I was just really excited that they put out something decent for that one. So yeah, that one. And what's the other one? Oh, Poltergeist 3, because I'm a huge fan of that movie.
I have the French Poltergeist 3 disc. I don't know why. I have no idea why I own it.
Yeah, they do some really. Gary Sherman did some really cool, mirror gags with that movie. So I mean, I like that about it. It's got a, I don't know. I like Poltergeist 3 too, but I mean, it's flawed, but I like it too.
It's a miserable experience for me, but I find myself fascinated by it because nothing works. It's the kind of film where every single scene fails in some primary way, but it's almost, I don't know, that's an entertainment factor to itself. How do you get a bad performance out of Tom Skerritt? Because they did.
I think Tom was just like, not long ago I was making Alien, Ridley Scott. Now I'm making Poltergeist 3.
It reminds me of a ludicrous line I just jumped in that movie for a fat ass check.
Yeah, well,
I saw Poltergeist 3 in the theater.
Me too.
And I remember people angrily at the end, they were screaming at the screen. Like it was not a good experience. I saw it in Sayreville, New Jersey, which, if you don't know, is damn near being just New York City. So like the audience was like beyond pissed off.
Don't hold me to this, but I think the trivia is they say Carol Ann like 190 times in that movie. Maybe that might be an exaggeration, but there is some type of like, it said like 82 times in that movie.
All right, offensive joke coming, so everyone close your ears if you're going to be offended. That movie is a bowel obstruction.
Oh dear.
Damn. Anybody that's seen the
What, now too soon on that too?
Give it another year or two.
Well, what were you going to say, Dan?
I was gonna say anybody that's like watched the supplemental material is very angry right now.
I think my most recent Shout Factory purchase was Deadly Friend.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
I know
sorry.
that's not a new release, but I mean, well, a newer movie, but
Would you consider that one of your favorite Scream Factory releases?
I don't know. I was a little disappointed in the special features. Obviously, Wes Craven wasn't around to do anything with it.
Right.
But that is an interesting movie to watch.
I think Wes Craven did enough to that movie. He didn't need to add anything else.
It's a website exclusive right now, but I was going to say Space Truckers was a pleasant recent surprise. The Stuart Gordon sci-fi film, really wild, crazy, batshit movie that I do recommend. A lot of Dennis Hopper's great in it. Stephen Dorff's great. Debbie Mazar, Charles Dance. It's a really good cast, and I find people just kind of forgotten about it. So I hope with the Blu-ray out, it'll get some rewatches.
Yeah, I don't remember very much about it. I know I saw it on like HBO or Cinemax, a million years ago. But yeah,
It's a good time.
what was that movie that got released with Strip to Kill? It's got Brad Dourif. Final Judgment.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a fun
Yeah.
one. That was a fun one. Brad Dourif as a pistol packing priest. Of course, he's got a background. He's got his past. He was a street thug, of course,
Yeah.
turned priest, but he's still got a little bit of thug in him. So he's not afraid to kick ass for the Lord when it's needed.
I think he had fun because he never gets to play the hero. Rarely.
Yeah, I think that was what got him the role. I think that's why he took the role. And I think they also said, "Look, you're going to have a love scene with Maria Ford." And he was like, "Where do I sign? Where's my check? Where do I sign?"
Yeah.
But yeah, like everything that made that late 80s, early 90s Concord era so great is in that movie, because the very first place he starts his investigation to find the killer of his daughter. It's a strip joint.
Yeah.
Very first place he goes.
Is he dressed like a priest while in
The first time, no, because he's there for information. Okay. So
Yeah. A lot of lingering shots that just had to be there.
a lot of lingering shots of Maria Ford dancing. Yeah.
Plot.
A lot of plot. Yeah.
Maria Ford doesn't get brought up enough. That like era of B movies. She did quite a few. And
Oh, I know. Yeah. She was to, Concord, Roger Corman, what Bronson and Chuck Norris were to Golan Globus and Cannon, back in the day. She was in everything,
she was.
So,
It's
but
been
yeah.
some good naked kickboxer movies that just Angel of Death and yeah, good stuff. I hope they put out a lot of the other films that she did. She kind of retired, then she came back briefly, and I think she's gone again, unfortunately.
She's in The Unfortunate Unnameable 2, which is not a great film. But she's actually really trying in that movie, and no one else is. And it's an odd thing like that. I like the first Unnameable quite a lot. I think it's one of the better Lovecraft adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
And the second film is just atrocious. Yeah, but again, she's trying to give it some weight, but the movie's falling apart literally around her.
Julie Strain's always game too. She was in that one, always doing her best.
Mm-hmm.
Another weird one too, because I think it was John Rhys Davies, and just I guess he didn't like Google like Julie Strain, and it's like, What kind of movie is this?
But yeah, she played the monster.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
she did.
She passed away about a year ago now, I think. Super nice lady. Kind of had a tragic accident that caught up with her, unfortunately.
Yeah. Lauren, do you have any favorite Scream Factory releases?
Well, I'm not a huge fan of the company, but I will say real early on when they put out the horror show, I actually think the horror show is one of those titles that doesn't get anywhere near the respect that it's a compromised film, 2 directors, but it's one of those films at that period in horror when it was kind of the Freddy effect on everything. The horror show is actually pretty effective when it wants to be disturbing and mean. And yet it's still in that like sweepstakes of can we create the next supervillain? I definitely prefer it to schlock like Shocker, whereas it's like terribly obvious. They go for the terribly obvious all the time. Whereas horror show is kind of a weird like subversion of that in a lot of ways. And it has simply the best cast in a horror film of the time. Brian James and Lance Hendrickson allowed to go off is just something that we're lucky happened. Those 2 guys, man,
Is that the one where they execute the guy?
There was like 10 films within 2 years that did that plot.
Yeah.
But this is the best of them.
This is the one with Lance Henriksen in it. It was supposed to be a house movie, but they turned it into the horror show.
Yeah.
It was a house movie to get the financing. That's really it.
Yeah. It's better than Shocker, in my opinion.
Way better than Shocker.
I prefer Shocker. But
Shocker.
it's directed
I'm
by
on that. Shocker.
It's directed by Jim Isaac, who directed Jason X.
Yeah.
Well, he finished the film. Yeah, he didn't start the film, but Shocker is just I don't know. Shocker is not a film I've ever liked, and I saw that I saw all this shit in theaters in the 80s, but Shocker always left me cold. I don't think it's a very good film. Mitch Pileggi is giving his all. It feels like it should be an iconic performance, but it really isn't. And the film just changing his powers every act, lame.
That's evil is unpredictable, Lauren. Try to predict evil next time.
But something like Fallen or even The Fifth Power, which is again the same fucking plot,
right?
Are just infinitely better films.
First Power with Lou Diamond Phillips. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, there you go. DVD, old school, First Power.
Nice.
Come on.
That's on Tubi.
Wow,
Ghost in the Machine. Yeah, that one kind of just people forget. Ghost in the Machine is another one that kind of like in '93. I remember seeing that in like an empty theater. Nobody went to see it, but
that and Hideaway I always confuse with each other.
Hideaway
has its moments.
The Kuntz adaptation that everyone forgets exists.
Yeah.
By the guy who directed Virtuosity, the brilliant Virtuosity.
The only bad Denzel Washington movie.
That's a young Russell Crowe.
It does have a young Russell Crowe in it. Yes, indeed.
I have a good movie for y'all to watch with Lance Henderson. Is Man's Best Friend.
Of course, yeah.
That dog, it could camouflage itself.
Where he crawls up and gets the cat is my favorite.
Yeah, that's right.
I saw that and
Gobbles it down.
Yeah.
I saw that and Class of 1999.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Like the same night in a theater because they just attached 99 to it as a double feature because they knew they weren't getting anyone in through the door.
Stacy Keach with the white wig.
Stacy Keach is one of the best actors that have ever lived, and no one knows him. Like he's that guy to people. Hey, it's that guy.
Yeah, Fat City. There's a lot of stuff that people forget. Road Games.
Is
Ninth Configuration, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Road Games is on Tubi right now.
I think everything's if you just search for it. It's on Tubi.
Party from when he was 9 is on Tubi right now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
It's weird out of that post Halloween Jamie Lee Curtis wave. Road Games is talked about the least, and I don't quite get it because
I don't know if that one.
Franklin.
Yeah. I think maybe because that was in us, yeah. But I remember seeing that movie for the first time and just being like, wow, where'd this thing come from? You know, like I was a horror fan who, of course, knew Jamie Lee Curtis, but it's like, what's this movie? I've never heard of it, seen it. Do you?
That movie is what got him Psycho too. So,
mm-hmm.
You know, one movie I keep trying to find is Razorback.
I love Razorback. It's not good.
Umbrella,
really? Oh.
Umbrella Entertainment did a Blu-ray of it a few years ago. They did a pretty good Blu-ray of it a few years ago. I'm sure it's on Tubi too.
I've searched there, but I mean, I check YouTube and Tubi and but
I've seen it on some streaming services before. They may have taken it off, but it used to be out there.
I think Shockbox is a free streaming service that has it. Robert Long is saying Eve of Destruction from 1990. That film, I always confuse. I always forget that film I conflate with I Come in Peace.
I Come in Peace is better, but yeah.
Dark Angel.
Yeah.
I love I Come in Peace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one with Dolph Lundgren in it?
Yes.
That is Dolph Lundgren. Yes. The great Dolph Lundgren.
In not his most shining, proud moments.
He's okay in it. He's okay in it.
I have a little story to tell y'all about I Come in Peace.
Sure.
Just bear with me. Do any of y'all know who Kenny Rogers is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The country, he's obviously passed away now. His son and I played on the same baseball team growing up. And I got to know him, his son, and we went to his house, which was Kenny Rogers' house. And that's the movie that we watched was I Come in Peace.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. You know, we're going back to the early 90s, but he would hit a button and it would call the maid, and the maid would come and she'd be like, what do you want to eat? And then we would just name something and she'd go and get it.
In that house, didn't it have to be fried chicken? It was rotisserie chicken, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Kenny Rogers Roasters or something.
Yeah, we had one like not that far away. I don't remember a thing about it.
This is we would call it Kenny Loggins chicken.
Oh my god, Danger Zone chicken! I like some Danger Zone chicken.
Yeah, that would be great. Like you're watching a movie in Kenny Rogers' house. You boys hungry? Hold on. Boop. Rosa. What do you want, Swaggy? Pizza. Okay. What do you want, Kenny Jr.? Rotisserie chicken. I'll be right back. And she brings you a pizza, and she brings him a rotisserie chicken. You know?
This was the kicker, though, was in his bedroom, you know, instead of having, you know, like the Super Nintendo, he actually had 2 arcade games. It was Mortal Kombat and NBA Jam.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
Both iconic games.
You know, Razorback did get a remake called Boar. You might want to check out.
Oh yeah, I've never heard of that one. Yeah,
it's a good time. Yeah.
Russell Mulcahy, I've liked his stuff. He didn't, you know, I don't know. It seems like after Highlander 2, he just kind of, I don't know.
Highlander 2 is not as bad as its reputation. It's like no one has watched any of the other sequels in that series.
I think
it is far from the worst film in that series.
I recommend the Renegade version. People didn't take to that twist, and I won't ruin it, but people just didn't take to it because I think
Michael Ironside flies in that movie. I'm fine.
Yeah.
What movie is this?
Highlander 2: The Quickening.
Oh yeah. I have seen that. Yeah.
I just think it's dumb. Yeah, but I mean it's fun, and it tried to do something. Whereas like the endless like Highlander films after that are all the same. It's like the first film over and over, but worse and worse.
Yeah.
The last one, The Source, was pretty rough. I actually kind of like Endgame. It's kind of ridiculous, but same thing. Bruce Payne is just going way over the top, chewing the scenery. It's fun.
I remember liking the third one with Mario Van Peebles as the bad
guy.
I remember liking that one. It's been many years.
That's an actor that even Bruce the Shark spit out.
Depends on what cut.
Doesn't matter. Jaws of Revenge does not get to be a better film no matter which cut you watch. Okay.
But yeah, and then McCaughey did one of those Resident Evil movies. I was excited that he was directing a Resident Evil movie, but it wasn't a free kid.
It was all pre-Viz before he got there. So
yeah. So, but yeah, Razorback is really good. Great looking movie too. Highlander, of course, is Highlander. It's too bad he didn't do more. Prolific music video director though. So
yeah, he did. He had a pretty good career. He came back to do Resident Evil 3 Extinction.
Yeah, it was 3. Yeah.
So he then he did some TV miniseries. He's kind of like one of those guys that bounced from smaller project to bigger project. And
he directed Resurrection with Christopher Lambert in it. Yeah. We were talking about Dolph Lundgren. I remember he did a movie with Dolph Lundgren that used to play on Cinemax all the time, where Lundgren was like some kind of hitman or something. And yeah.
Lundgren did some interesting films. I always recommend The Minion. It was like the knockoff of End of Days. It's a shitty movie, but it's fun.
The original Punisher was with Dolph Lundgren.
Yes, the original Punisher. Yeah, I like that's the best Punisher in my book.
Yeah, that one's not bad. Yeah.
Nah, Warzone is the best Punisher movie.
Oh,
they screw up the villain, but everything else works.
Looney Bin Jim. Yeah.
Looney Bin Jim. Well, I do. If it's got Julie Benz in it, I'll give it a shot. So
yeah. Nobody saw Warzone. That was like a weird one because I kind of liked it too.
That is a violent goddamn movie. People like John Wick stole everything from that movie, like as far as the gun violence.
Oh yeah, like they did. I don't think you could do that now. I mean, I think the last scene even was like him just like
he shoots
the guy's face off.
Well, he actually shoots his friend so that he can save the little girl at the end of that movie. That's the Punisher we need.
Yeah, it's that one's absolutely batshit. Another one I didn't get. Like I was like, man, anything I like in the superhero genre, it's like nobody sees.
My favorite scene in that is when he uses the bazooka to kill the guy jumping between buildings.
Yeah,
the guy's just flying through the air and suddenly he's just gone. It's so ridiculously ultra violent.
That reminds me of Hard Ticket to Hawaii. The guy shoots the skateboarder.
Yeah, that
with the blow-up doll with the bazooka.
Those were some great movies. Those weren't Corman movies, but they were.
They had the spirit of it, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely had the spirit of a Corman movie. They were
Andy
really
Sedaris, yeah.
Andy Sedaris, yes.
What's funny is there's always like cast rollover for each film. It's like they're the same characters, but like, oh, now all of a sudden Pat Morita's the villain now, or like there's just that crazy crossover. There's nothing quite like an Andy Sedaris film. I highly recommend watching them all.
You can guarantee crazy action, lots of explosions, TNA, and then some, and just like it's just off the wall action, crazy.
You get Buff Bagwell towards the end of the run.
Buff Bagwell, yes, exactly. Buff Bagwell in a jacuzzi with Julie Strain.
The warrior.
And
a plot that will forget what happened in the previous scene randomly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. No. And it really doesn't matter. It's funny. Eric Bischoff tells a story about like at that point Buff Bagwell may be making like $1 million. And he tells him like, I need like a month off. It's like, why? It's like, I got to go shoot this movie. And Eric Bischoff's like, you mean the softcore porn movie when you're on TV and making 7 figures? Okay, I guess I'll let you go do it. And it's a weird career move, but cool.
But he was probably, but Eric, Julie Strain. I get a scene with Julie Strain in a hot tub. Come on.
Yeah.
I think it was the pool, not a hot tub. But anyway, there's water, and it's
either works.
Yeah.
Hey, Nightbot, thank you for the tip, but I don't do drugs.
It's not really a drug. Well, it
is a drug. It's just socially acceptable, which is fine. I support everyone following their muse through life. I just don't.
I didn't know you were straight edge.
I'm not, because there's a political connotation to that, but I don't do drugs or alcohol.
Let me tell you. Hold on a second. At Scarefest, I'm going to bring a bunch of this, Lauren, and you're going to drink it.
You can bring as much as you like. You can enjoy it all.
It's right here.
I will not be touching it.
You're going to meet the doctor, and the doctor is going to make you feel good.
I think there's enough of us to have a podcaster convention at this point. There, like we've got like what 20?
Oh, we're gonna take the room, man. Don't worry, we're gonna take the room.
Do you mix that with anything, or you just drink it straight?
Oh, I just drink it straight up, man. It's good. It's good.
Did you shoot it, or are you talking about like you sip it?
No, I just shots. Just shots. You can mix it. You can mix it with certain stuff. There's a cherry version that is really good with Coke. You make you like a nice cherry Coke with it, man. Oh, so good.
He doesn't mean the soft drink.
No, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we call it a night here?
Can we have Robert Long on? Because I'm fascinated by
What's
like everything. Honky Tonk Man's funny. $17 a bottle.
Dr. McGillicuddy is not $17 a bottle. That is
12% alcohol.
Energy drinks are my only vice, so I can't.
Oh yeah, caffeine is where it's at. Don't worry about it, man. You're good.
A
A little bit of taurine every once in a while, right?
I'll have like a rum mixed drink sort of thing once in a blue moon, but basically I don't really drink.
I'm gonna do a shot for Robert Long right now. Robert, this is for you, my friend. Cheers.
And I wish Honky Tonk Man were in an Andy Sedaris film, because that would have been epic. But
That would have been funny.
yes.
Nico, I do not judge other people. I want them to follow their lives, you know. But you know, you got to make your own decisions in life.
And you know, if you make the decision to see the good doctor, that is the right decision.
Well, it's a decision, yeah.
It's the right decision.
It's a decision.
Let's see. Anything else you guys want to cover?
I want Lauren to put that on.
I can.
Put
It's
what
too
on?
big. It's too big for my head, but I can do it.
I did go and see that movie in theaters. I do remember that.
Yeah, me too. I had a blast.
Oh, Jason X.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice.
Just need to get the red eyes. Didn't he have like red eyes? Or something?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I haven't caved yet, but ever since I've known Lauren the last few years, I've been so tempted to get all the Jason X novels, but they're just a little bit too much of an investment to get them all. But
yeah, why are they so expensive?
I used to see those at a used bookstore all the time, and I don't know why I never got them. And of course now, I mean, they're just really hard to find.
$2, like getting rid of them, basically.
Yeah.
Because they were licensed novels. So what happens with licensed novels is that the license runs out, and they can't legally be reprinted. So what's out there is all there is. And once collectors get a hold of something, like Friday the 13th is a big collector's market, they just don't circulate. So it's like supply and demand, you know. Actually, the Final Destination novel that they put in the line is starting to really gain traction because there's actually 2 new Final Destination projects coming to us probably next year. So it looks like that novel is like now out of control. So pick it up now if you see it cheaply, because it'll be worth 4 times what it is next year.
I did get lucky, and I recently on eBay, I got the Halloween 3 novelization for $15.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've never seen it below $100.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen it even higher in some
and
cases.
it's in excellent condition.
Good. That's very good. Yeah. Yeah. I think when I picked up 2 and 3 together, and I think I got them for like $50 together. This was several years ago. The Jack Martin books.
Books.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That Halloween 1 novelization, you can't get it for, I mean, those things are very expensive, and there's not a lot of them in very good shape. So here it's not a great novel, but it'd still be cool to have it.
Yeah, I've heard that original novel starts with a festival or something like that going on in Ireland, and it kind of talks about a haunted spirit that comes, and that's what kind of starts Michael Myers on his path. Have y'all heard that at all?
I've actually never read that one, so I'm not sure.
I don't own it anymore. I don't remember that at all. But I don't own it anymore, and I read it when I was a kid. So who knows? I know that the adaptation of the second movie it fixes all the plot problems. So it's probably the preferable narrative of Halloween 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh goodness. Well, let's go ahead and let's call it a night there. Let me give a shout out here to Nico. Nico, thank you for the $10 super chat, sir. Very kind of you. And we're definitely looking forward to having you back on the stream here very soon. It'll be a celebration. It's gonna be a night with Nico when he comes back. So it's gonna be just a celebration of Nico. But thank you for that, sir. Let's see who's still with us. We've got Big Crack Rock in the chat. Eventually, I want to get Big Crack Rock on this stream too. I think it's time for a Big Crack Rock reveal.
There you
go. I agree. I've always heard that name, and I'm jealous of it.
It's about time for a Big Crack Rock reveal. Let's see. We've got Nick Marshall in the chat. We got Press Play in the chat. We got Ewan Thomas, Brian Trash, Lord Brian. There's Nico hanging out with us. Let's see. We've got Jamie in the chat. Jason Lima was with us tonight. Dream Emulator, who wanted to join, but he had some technical issues. Maybe next time, sir. Hopefully next time. Captain Halloween, my buddy Keith. We got Dave. Of course, Robert Long doing his thing. Jeff Overing. JS was hanging out with us earlier. I know DJ was hanging out with us earlier. Jess, Cable Channel 11 was here earlier. Feels Creepy Videos. Future Dead Camper was here. Alexis's Horror was hanging out with us earlier. Ben Grimm, thank you all. Let's see. Dan, where can we find you on the social medias?
We're Flesh Wound Features here on YouTube, and we will have content every single day in October, sometimes more than one show. Our big Hellraiser franchise show. If you're a fanboy like me, that'll be a lot of fun. And this Wednesday, we're reviewing Pearl, Monsters, and a bunch of new stuff on Wednesday. So check us out.
Cool. Lauren, where can we find you on social media?
At Lauren Dixon on the Twitter, and Visit My Voices 1 on YouTube, and just Google my name, Lauren Dixon, on Amazon. Buy a book or two. Put my non-existent kids through college.
Ghost, where can we find you, sir?
Let's see. You can find me at my website, which is thedailyghost.com. I do once in a while I do a music podcast show. I need to do another one soon. And I'm trying to put all my short, quick movie reviews up on my website. I'm trying to slowly wean myself off of social media and get everything just kind of in one place. So just check me out over there at thedailyghost.com.
Oh, a ghost. I just typed it in, and now I've got a virus. Thanks a lot.
That's not a virus. That's a feature.
No, I did just type in your website. You've got a nice looking website here, Ghost.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I put a lot of, maybe too much time into it. Now I need to focus on the content, as I say.
There you go. Nice. Swaggy, where can we find? Well, Swaggy, you're anti-social media, is that right?
Well, Piz, I have an Instagram, but I'm not like all of y'all. I don't do the reviews. I'm kind of jealous of y'all, so I just kind of look at y'all stuff. But I'm not at that level yet.
Okay, all right.
Yet, that's a keyword.
Not yet. Soon though, maybe.
No, but thank you again for having me on.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Yeah, thank you all for joining me tonight. It's always fun to do these and shoot the bull with y'all. Thank you all for being patrons. I appreciate the support. Also, shout out to Jonathan, who was here very briefly. I'm not sure. Maybe he had some technical issues or something. I'm not sure, but shout out to him. Shout out to Jack, the director of the upcoming Amityville Rideshare, which I'm looking forward to. So yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday night. We'll see you again real soon. I will be announcing the date and time for the Iron Woman Bloodstream. I spoke to her today. She is absolutely lovely. Lovely. Okay. I'm trying to talk her into releasing her own brand of irons. So if that
make a fortune signing them, I bet. I don't know if she's done conventions already, but
there's the George Foreman grill. Why can't you have the same thing for an iron?
Yes, the Iron Woman's iron. Very nice. That's going to be a fun Bloodstream. I'll be announcing that very soon. Got a bunch more videos coming up soon also as well. Got a very cool stream planned for October with a star-studded panel. So I'll be announcing that very soon, hopefully as well. So yeah, thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you again real soon. Until then, be good. Take care.
Peace.
And peace.